make sure that we didn't, if I'm not sure what our options would be if we plan to practice late, which my original plan was to practice late with the idea that our coaches would have more time to look at film. But the later we practice, like we may go out there at 12, move back to 3, and then move back to 6, but at least we get the windows. But it seems to follow the weather pattern that we saw early, which was the lowest percentage of inclement activity was going to be at 12. It was going to be high early, best at 12, and then increasing as the day went on. I mean, yeah, I think we could get to 3 or 4 o'clock today and look like those 2 football games look stuck. We gotta have this practice out. We gotta have this one. I'm sorry about messing up, not having players here and stuff. They'll be available after practice, you know, if y'all don't mind doing it.
Whether that end of practice is at 2, at 4, or at 7.
Well, I really think that we hit it, though. I think we did hit it. I think we did hit it. But just the latest look at the radar, I think we did hit it right by moving it. I think we're going to be able to, you know, to have it over with pretty quick. I think they'll be available 2:30.
Can you go through the plan for the quarterback? I mean,
yeah,
start,
you know,
what are you looking for there, and the other 2 guys?
Well, I would the same plan with a 1 and a 2 if there were different names associated with 1 and 2. We're going to put a quarterback in the game in the 3rd series just to make sure that a guy has a rhythm in the game, and particularly in a game when we've not had one. The next guy behind Cody hadn't been in a game. Now, because of experience, that's Thomas. We have not ever had much of a gap between Thomas and Stephen Coates. They're different, but Stephen matches up. Thomas matched up better with a Quez offense, and Cody added a sort of different style in the mix. I may be talking on 2 different levels here. Thomas puts a different style in the mix with Cody, but who lines up better with Cody is Stephen.
Right.
If you got all that. So, you want me to say that again? Thomas brings a little change of pace to the game with Cody starting.
But he was closer to what Ivory does.
Right. Right. So you may see the Thomas thing evolve, but Stephen can play, and I'm not so sure how we're going to integrate Stephen into this. But we're not redshirting. He's already been redshirted. Stephen's a player. You know, he's got a future here. And the first opportunity I honestly see where he can help us in any way, I am going to push him into a football game. I'm pushing to get him out there at some point in time.
Let me ask you about Mark White a little bit. I know you've shelving for the year.
Well, yeah, mentally I have. I'm not sure that might hold up over time, but mentally right now I've made a coach out of him.
If that stays the plan, do you
Right.
anticipate him being available to you in the spring, or will you go into the
spring? Some degree, if he is redshirted, and there's some things that have to happen for that to be the case. I mean, it's not a slam dunk that a guy that plays in the game is going to get that whole year back. You know, you still have to go through a process. He did play. Now, he didn't play very long, and history would tell you that this should happen, but let's not say something is going to happen before the NCAA says it happened.
And he hadn't had a redshirt year.
He hadn't had a redshirt year. So, I mean, I would think, based on experience, that he should be available. Let me tell you what, if something were to happen to Cody, and we had a chance late in the year, I'd run him out there to make a difference in our season. So let's not close the book. He did this in high school. They thought he wasn't going to be back, and he goes out there and wins the state championship in 2 games, maybe 3 games, 2 games maybe.
And I know this is only the first game of the fall season. I'm asking you something about the spring, but if he doesn't do that, then you don't have Darren, you don't have Cody because
Yeah.
they play baseball.
Then you
won't
got a
have-
chance to have Stephen and Marquez at spring training, but you're not
If
going.
he, but if he doesn't go through spring, then it's, what do you do with the second guy? Slow it? You know, and it worked.
To me,
8-9 months out of it.
There's quite a few options, but if I start saying them, they just sort of make everybody wonder what the hell you thinking, man.
Okay. When you talk about doing things before the NCAA gets it done, let me ask you,
Yeah.
where does it stand with Jack? And how do you
Well,
handle
the
it?
NCAA did not, they felt like that the evidence that were presented to them didn't change the facts, which makes me wonder that, to me, they were looking at a very, very succinct group of facts because there was circumstances. In an appeal, they'll go back and expand, I think, what, and I don't know exactly how they do this, but it looks to me like where they said that no new information was provided, it wouldn't have been it would have been new information if they were looking at a broad set of circumstances. And I think they broadened it a little bit in appeal, so I think we've got a chance. Ole Miss has something to gain by, by it being done too, so.
If you file the appeal yet?
I don't think, this is Misty, and she's on it now. What a file date is, I'm not sure.
Would you anticipate anything happening before the game Saturday?
I'm gonna do everything I can to see if it could happen. I think there's one concept there, quite honestly, that it's an NCAA concept that has not been acknowledged. And they said new information didn't add to that, but I don't think they were probably looking for it, so it wasn't new information. But I think, my sense in just having several conversations with Ole Miss that they're for, that NCAA recognizing he's eligible. I mean, there's nobody not trying to get this done. We're just dealing with a bureaucratic process that it is what it is. There's no need in complaining about it. But the boy came here, he paid his own way to school, he made as good a grades as conceivably could be made, and then after the fact he finds out something. Because he did everything he could do, and he finds this out after the fact.
Yeah.
No.
Have you seen medical reports on Justin yet?
Uh,
The wrist, how?
There's nobody that doesn't have a chance to play in this football game other than the two notables. But are there issues? That's all I can tell you. And I don't think I can, from a competitive standpoint or from a medical standpoint, really elaborate to any extent.
Because of the injuries, do you take it, I don't know if I should say, ease up and not hit as much this week?
Well,
maybe as
Mike, now you in the head coach's stuff, but that's where we're at, I'll go back to evaluation of where we are as a football team right now. This football team lacks something coming out of last season, and we made a commitment to put it back in them, but there's a risk reward to everything. We paid a price for doing that. I'd go back and do it again, but I think it's time based, as you said, I think it's time for us to look at where we are today. It's not about the preseason. It's not about correcting attitudes. It's about winning the next football game. I tried to get us to that, within the reasonable amount of time to play UT Martin. I'll be honest with you, I didn't get it. I mean, I played it too tight maybe, or they didn't get the message, one or the other. Either way, it's me. Whatever it takes has answered your question. And if we're smart enough to figure out whatever it takes, which what you suggested is probably what it's going to take. I didn't think we lost a contact battle. I didn't think we lost. The longer it went, the more physical we played. We knew what we had to do to win, by God, and we did it. Excuse me. We needed that. We lost 3 out of our last 4 games. That's what we were dealing with. I sense where this team is right now, and they need some They need to, you know, needs to be wrapped back in. Practice time, amount of contact, amount of offense or defense you run. These are the things that I deal with these coaching staff, and they all have to be given consideration. If we're fixing to start a quarterback that's never started a game, you know, I mean, he is Kobe. But still,